Today we're going to be making some dill pickles, and I'll kind of take you through the process, at least how I do it. I know there's a gazillion different recipes and ways to do dill pickles, but this is how I do it, and it's pretty simple, so stay tuned. This is the recipe that I will be using. It is per quart, 4 cloves garlic, peeled and smashed, 2 teaspoons dill seed, ½ teaspoon red pepper flakes, which is optional, and then for the brine, you'll mix 1 cup vinegar, 1 cup water, and 1½ tablespoons pickling salt, and you'll put that in a pot to heat. First step, make sure that your jars are clean, hot soapy water, or sterilize in the dishwasher. Get your stock pot or your water bath canner, probably at least half full of water. You want to make sure when you put your jars in here that it will just cover the tops of your jars, and get that on the stove.
Some of these cucumbers are really too big to make pickles out of, but I'm just going to wash them all up anyway, and I'll pick out the best ones for pickling.
All washed and ready to go. Okay, I've got regular distilled white vinegar, my canning and pickling salt. I went ahead and bought some dill seeds. I think I'm going to do maybe both, or some with the fresh sprigs and some with the dill seeds, just for this first batch to kind of experiment what I like better. I know that I can only fit 5 quart jars in this stock pot. This is the largest stock pot I have. So that is what my focus is for this first batch, is just 5 quarts. While our brine is heating up to a boil, we're going to go ahead and get all of our spices into our jars and get them ready. So the recipe calls for crushing the garlic cloves. My guess is by doing that you release a little bit more of the garlic flavor. Yes, it's recording. So from there I'm going to place my cloves into the jars. Hey, be nice to the puppies.
We don't like Tinky.
Okay.
Mom.
Yes. Now, I am doing half the amount of dill seed that the recipe calls for because I'm also adding some of the fresh sprigs from my garden.
Yes.
½ teaspoon red pepper flakes.
Mom, make all different for blue and thick.
Okay, so we should be good to go. This is what it looks like with everything in there. My brine is just about boiling.
Mommy, I'm nothing in my pen.
So, I guess the next step would be to get our cucumbers ready. Yeah, we gotta get the cucumbers ready to make pickles. Okay, so I've done 3 quarts in spears. Now I'm going to slice them for like hamburger slices.
ready. My 5 quarts. The brine is just simmering. So I poured the brine all the way up to about the bottom ridge here. So that leaves about a 1/2 inch of headspace in these jars. So now we're going to put the lids and the rings on and then get them in our water to process. Now at this point, if you didn't want to process these in heat, you could go ahead and put the lids and rings on right now and put them in the refrigerator, and they stay good in the refrigerator for up to 3 months. But I want to process them in a hot water bath because then they are shelf stable in my pantry for about a year. So that's what I'm going to do. This is a nifty little tool. Has a magnet on it, which works perfectly for lifting the lids out of the hot water. Yeah, perfect. You don't have to make this super tight, just where it grabs, because you want the water processing to do its job of actually sealing. You don't rely on this to seal it. This is only to hold the lid in place. Now I'm going to take these and place them down into my hot water. And it actually looks like I've got a little too much water in it, so I'm going to take some out because I don't want it to overflow when it's boiling. Come on, I know it's fit here before. For some reason, on the dry run, I could fit all 5 quart jars in here, but now I can only fit 4. The 5th one just will not go in, and I don't want to push it, being that we're dealing with hot liquids and glass. So I'm just going to leave it at 4, and we'll do the 5th one after this load is done. So we're going to bring our water up to a boil, and then we'll set our timer for 5 minutes once it's boiling, and we will process them for just 5 minutes. 3 more jars ready. This is what they look like coming out of the hot water bath processing. You can tell that the coloring has changed quite a bit in the cucumbers, and that can be expected from the heat. I've got my second batch of 4 quarts going in here now, and then we'll be all done, and I have to clean up all my mess. Well, altogether today I got 10 quarts of pickles canned. Just
just remember, if you use the hot water bath canning method, I would leave them sit on the counter probably for 48 hours, make sure that they got sealed really well, and then you can store them in your pantry for up to a year after that, or eat them. But if you chose not to use the hot water processing and just put them in the refrigerator after adding the brine to the cucumbers, make sure that you eat them within 3 months. But I hope you enjoyed
Hey,
this
Mom,
video.
look at me talk.
Yeah, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.